You've spent your entire life being told that you're such a good person, so thoughtful, so considerate, always putting others first. And somewhere deep inside, you believe that if you just kept giving, kept smiling, kept saying yes, the world would eventually return the favor. But it didn't. And now you're tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. You're angry in a way you can't explain. And the worst part is, you feel guilty for even feeling that way, because good people aren't supposed to be angry. Good people aren't supposed to want something back. But what if the version of you that everyone loves isn't actually you? What if it's a performance you started so long ago that you forgot you were acting? There's a difference that almost nobody talks about, a difference between kindness and niceness. And that difference will quietly destroy your life if you never learn to see it. Kindness is a choice made from fullness. It comes from someone who knows who they are, who has boundaries, who gives freely because they want to, not because they're terrified of what happens if they stop. Niceness, on the other hand, the compulsive, automatic, never say no kind of niceness, that doesn't come from love. It comes from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear that if people saw the real you, the one with needs, with opinions, with sharp edges, they would leave. And so you sand yourself down. You make yourself smooth, easy, agreeable. You become the person who never causes problems. And everyone around you thinks you're wonderful, but you're disappearing. Let's talk about what this actually does to you, because it's more destructive than most people realize. The first thing compulsive niceness does is turn you into a liar. Not a dramatic liar, not someone who fabricates stories, but someone who lies in small, constant ways. Someone asks how you're doing, and you say fine. Someone crosses a line, and you laugh it off. Someone asks where you want to eat, and you say you don't care, even though you do. Every time you suppress a real response and replace it with a pleasant one, you're lying. And over time, those small lies build a cage around you. People stop knowing you because you never let them. And then you wonder why your relationships feel shallow, why nobody ever really gets you. But how could they? You never gave them anything real to hold on to. The second thing it does is create what psychologists call covert contracts. This is one of the most painful patterns in human relationships. A covert contract is an unspoken deal you make inside your own head. You think, if I'm endlessly patient with this person, they'll love me. If I always show up for them, they'll eventually show up for me. If I sacrifice enough, I'll earn their loyalty. But the other person never signed that contract. They don't even know it exists. And when they inevitably fail to uphold their end of a deal they never agreed to, you feel betrayed. You feel used. And that bitterness starts leaking out in passive-aggressive comments, silent treatments, emotional withdrawal. You become the person who says nothing is wrong while radiating resentment from every pore. And no one understands why, least of all you. There's a concept in trauma psychology called the Fawn Response. Most people know about fight, flight, and freeze, but fawning is the fourth survival strategy, and it's the one that hides in plain sight. When a child grows up in an environment where love is conditional, where a parent's mood dictates the emotional climate of the entire household, that child learns something dangerous. They learn that safety comes from making other people comfortable. They become hyper-attuned to the emotions of others. They learn to read a room before they even walk through the door. They learn to adjust, to accommodate, to shrink. And they carry that into adulthood, into friendships, into romantic relationships, into workplaces. They become the coworker who never pushes back, the partner who never starts an argument, the friend who always listens but never asks to be heard. From the outside, it looks like virtue. From the inside, it feels like survival. And that's the tragedy, because you're not being kind, you're being safe. And there's a profound difference. Carl Jung talked about something he called the shadow, the parts of yourself that you've rejected because they don't fit the image you're trying to project. For compulsively nice people, the shadow is enormous. It contains your anger, your selfishness, your desire to say no, your need to be seen, your hunger for something that's yours and yours alone. You've pushed all of that down because you were taught that those parts of you are ugly, unacceptable, unlovable. But the shadow doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. It festers. It grows in the dark. And it comes out sideways. In the sarcastic remark you didn't mean to make. In the resentment you feel when someone else sets a boundary you'd never allow yourself to set. In the quiet rage that surfaces when you realize you've given everything and kept nothing. Here's what no one tells you about conflict avoidance. It's not peaceful, it's controlling. When you refuse to have a difficult conversation, when you swallow your needs to keep things calm, you're not preserving the relationship, you're managing it. You're curating a false version of harmony that requires you to erase yourself in order to maintain, and the people around you can feel it. They might not have the language for it, but they sense that something is off. They sense that your agreeableness isn't trust, it's a wall. And over time, they start pulling away, not because you weren't nice enough, but because they could never actually reach you. The cruelest irony of all is that compulsive niceness doesn't make people love you more. It makes them respect you less. Not because they're cruel, but because humans are wired to trust authenticity. We are drawn to people who are real, even when real is messy. When someone always agrees, always accommodates, always puts themselves last, it doesn't inspire admiration. It inspires suspicion. People start to wonder what you actually want. They start to wonder if your kindness has strings. And eventually, the very thing you were trying to prevent, rejection, abandonment, loss of love, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Not because you weren't enough, but because you never let yourself be anything at all. If any of this feels uncomfortable, if something in you is resisting these words while simultaneously knowing they're true, then this video found you at exactly the right time. Because the exhaustion you feel isn't from giving too much. It's from pretending too much. It's from the weight of performing a version of yourself that was never real, a version designed to earn love instead of simply being worthy of it. You don't need to become selfish. You don't need to become cold. You don't need to burn everything down. You just need to start telling the truth. Small truths at first. What you actually want for dinner. How you actually feel when someone cancels on you. What you actually need from the people in your life. It will feel terrifying. It will feel like you're risking everything. But what you're really risking is the prison of your own likability. And on the other side of that risk is something you haven't felt in a very long time. Freedom. The freedom to be imperfect, to be complicated, to be fully human, and to be loved not in spite of that, but because of it. If this video made you feel something you've been avoiding, sit with that. Don't push it away. That feeling is you, trying to come home to yourself. And if you want to keep exploring these parts of yourself that no one else talks about, subscribe to this channel, because this is just the beginning of a conversation that might change everything.